What's going on, guys? It's Copper Cutlass. What the fuck is wrong with this picture? Time to be the real Americans we are. Alright, so it's Wednesday. Got the crossover all welded up. So a couple things. We mounted the cross member about a 1/2 inch lower, and the reason for that is for easy install. And I may have said that in the other video, but now it's all welded in place. I have to drill the holes for the bolts. Now the bolts are on a staggered pattern because of the way that I made the fixture to weld the cross member. To keep everything as square as possible, I needed to have that cross member like forward on the mount. And I'll share the pictures at the tail end of this video of how I did it. This video is going to be pretty short, so don't worry about it. I ain't going to fucking bore you. But, so the frame's unboxed. We got the cross member all set in place. At this point, our roll cage is ready for pickup. My buddy JJ over at Twin J Racing, go follow him and his page on Facebook and YouTube. He's picking it up for me, but the weather this weekend does not look that great. But we actually still got quite a bit of work to do because maybe my wife can get in here. She can let my beer get warm, but in that corner, if you guys remember when I wired up the MSD, everything is in that front corner of the passenger side. So I actually have to remove all of that for the down bars. So a little bit more work than expected, because now we have to not only get that out of the way, we have to find a new spot for it. So at this point, I might make a, I rarely have passengers, so I think I'm going to pin the passenger seat, and I might mount everything like kind of partially under the seat. I've seen that type of setup where guys have done it that way. But right now I have to really rethink some of that wiring because we weren't thinking about it that good. And that is pretty much like about the only location where you can really mount that, down tube from the main hoop to the frame. So we really can't do much with that. But, I'm going to start getting that stuff out here pretty soon, probably tomorrow night. Today I came out here to set up the cross member, measure everything out. And we got a little bit of adjustability so we can get our driveline angles actually correct, because looking at it now and doing a little bit of research, they kind of have never been right, or I bent my cross member in the process of everything, which again, it's stamped steel, but I could have done a tubular crossover, but those are like literally like $200+, almost cost as much as the roll bar kit we're going to do. So once I get the cross member actually bolted in, because I have to drill holes, put bolts in it, all that fun stuff, we're going to get the car back on tires, and we're probably going to put it on the rollers so that way when we take the Pontiac outside, we can squeeze the olds over, because right now the fuel lines are out. It's got no brake lines from about here back. So really, we have to start making this a little bit easier to do. And most of the work is going to have to get done from the top down, so we can kind of lower the car and load it up. So we'll end up probably, and for the sake of squareness, I have to get the other 14x7s and probably put them on just the dollies that I had the Pontiac on, so we can roll it. And then, kind of cut our windows to hit the frame here, and in the back. As far as, we're going to do an 8-point, but the tubes that go down from the crossbar on the main hoop down, I'm going to leave for later, because I actually would really like to do a rear cross member that you would typically see in a 4-link. And the reason for that is not because I want to do a 4-link, but because it's going to stiffen up everything. And if everything works out, I may tie the cage up to that, and that's my idea. It's not necessarily going to be a suspension mount point, because I would never want to run I said 4-link, what I meant was a ladder bar, sorry. But I don't want to actually ever mount a set of ladder bars on really any car because, well, Leaf Spring cars got Calvert bars, which guys have gone like well into the eights with that stuff. And then, the GM 4Link is pretty capable. Again, we've seen guys do low nines, high eights on stock GM, stock point stuff. And if you're doing like a tube chassis car, you're doing like a custom 4Link. You know, if you're gonna do a tube chassis car, you're not, unless you're doing a back half car, then I really don't see the point of doing a ladder bar. I'm not a fan. I understand the theory. It's just not. It doesn't ride good, doesn't articulate good, and I've never shown you guys the entrance to my fucking driveway. That would annihilate a ladder bar setup pulling into my driveway. It kills axles like every 3 years. My Durango, my Suburban, and the F-150 will probably have dead axles in a couple of years because of the steep entrance to my driveway. So anyway, this video's been long enough. Thank you guys for following along. Hit the like button, share, like, subscribe. Just keep following along. It's going to get real good once we start getting everything kind of in place in our mount plates, and I'll try to get more cameras in there and just kind of let it roll. And you guys got to let me know if you guys would like something live because, a lot of stuff goes on in here. We were out here for 12 hours on Saturday, and it's just hard to capture everything. So we'll let you guys go.